Morning. I had like 1,000 dreams last night. But I feel very rested, even though we went to bed at about 5 o'clock last night a.m. It is noon now, Canada time. Been up only for a little bit, answering lots of emails, lots of messages, lots of comments. It's as if inspiration is just beaming from everybody, including myself. I feel everything, like the foundation being laid, and it's like last final bricks being placed before we kind of cross the bridge to the other side, if you know what I mean. Awakening is here, and it's beautiful, and I'm watching it blossom in everyone around me, including myself. Things are becoming more clear every single day, and it's just so beautiful. Just the whole and its magnitude is no words. But today I had the thought that I wanted to take it back a little bit, and what I mean by that is talk about the tiny mad idea. Now, this is a term that's thrown around a lot by course students, right? Because it's from A Course in Miracles. Well, that's where we kind of receive this, truth from, I guess, right? But for me, I never fully and wholeheartedly understood it until I've been experiencing it within my own mind and understand what it means from my own internal teacher. So I figured, since I've had a bunch of people in the last couple days kind of mention this thought to me, the tiny mad idea, I figured I would do a little bit of a blurb on it, a little bit of a talk about it, and see what comes forward. As you know, it's always helpful for me to do this too. So, Holy Spirit, these words are for you. So, the tiny mad idea is referred to as the moment of separation, right? Separation from each other, separation from our Creator. So if we can even just imagine right now together, let's just let our mind and our thoughts go free, right? Think of us collectively together in eternity, right? Enjoying the perfection in which, our Creator created us to be, the Source created us to be. Creating us in the image and likeness of Him, we are creators, and therefore we can do and be and have and experience anything that we could desire. And therefore our imagination was the means for us to bring forward whatever it is that we wanted to create and experience. Now remember that in this kind of confine of the ego consciousness that we're still connected with within this world, until we've surrendered it and gotten free of it, right? We only have a limited understanding, a finite understanding of what eternity and infinite even and truth really is. Right? So to try and conceptualize it or intellectualize it or, any of that is not going to help you. So throw that out the window right now. We are being creative here. We're just allowing the inspiration and the ideas to flow, to allow us to see it with our heart and feel it with our soul and our being instead of thinking about it in our head, okay? So as we kind of sink down together into the heart space center, we can kind of imagine what it would have been like at one point when we were all intricately connected as souls, as minds, as light, right? And I almost like to think of it as, little children of our Father. Oh, what are we going to do today? The innocence, oh, life is so wonderful, and just bopping around having a great time. We can do anything and have anything and be anything and experience anything, and life is so perfect and miraculous and amazing, and thank you, Creator, for creating like us. Love is all there is. Then, as we started imagining and creating and all of the sonship together, having these ideas of what we could possibly do and possibly create, there was a tiny little mad idea that crept into the wholeness of our mind. And this tiny mad idea posed the question, what would it be like if we were separate from each other and separate from our Creator? And this question was pondered. And this question was accepted as a thought that wanted to be experienced. And together, collectively, as the sonship, we decided to experience separation. And bang! The Big Bang. Right? All that was whole and eternal and one and love and pure and light and divine is now able to have an experience of separation in what we like to call the earth and the universe. Right? So now we've been taken from the magnitude and the infinite down to the finite, right? The form. Right? We've created this matrix that is within the infinite, the eternal, for us to have this experience of separation. Okay? So what happens is a few souls dabbled into this experience. They have an idea of what it's like to be in a body. Whoa, what's this? Wow, this is my symbol of separation, right? And at the time when we were first here, we hear about the Mayans. We hear about all the different ancient times that connected with a source that was far greater than ourselves. And the Mayans too, by the way, were the ones who said that 2012 was the end of the world as we know it. Was Christ consciousness, right? Was the new coming of the Christ. And so, on that note, just for a moment, this is going to be the awareness that is all brought forward to us of the separation, so we can remember the unity and remember that Christ consciousness is here now within each and every single one of us all around the world, and not just one man and one body that came to form. So after we spend hundreds and thousands of years here in form, working for survival, trying to find shelter, trying to find food, trying to find means of exchange, we created this system of exchange. And first it was through things. First it was, okay, so I have clay over here and I have a bunch of, tools and chisels over here, and I can share that with you for some hay, and for some, materials of some kind. So we started to do an exchange like that, and we'd fight each other because that's all that we knew. We now have this other mind opposed to our infinite united consciousness. We now have this finite consciousness, which we like to call in the New Age the ego, right? And this ego is a means for us to interpret the world through the physical senses of the body, instead of through our infinite senses of spirit. Right? And so because of that, we then were able to see things through the physical eyes, hear things through the physical ears, feel things through the physical body, and take in the experiences that were around us, and they were then held in an information system, so to speak. Just think of like a filing cabinet, or like how a computer holds all this data. It's the same thing for us. Right? And after a while it gets clogged because we have experienced so much past and we have so much memory that it becomes this infiltration of past. Right? And then so what has happened is people take this past and they carry it with them. And they start to see through the eyes of the past. Right? And they see through also the eyes of the fear of what the future might bring. What if we don't have enough food? What if we don't have enough shelter? What if we don't have enough cover? Right? But those, the Mayans and stuff tried to remind us that, we are connected to a source. When you had pyramids brought forward from the top down, a miracle, because that is what we needed. We asked our Creator, we joined together in that miracle, and boom, it was brought here in form. And that is kind of, what we have lost over the years, because we have been focused out here. This world has appeared so real to us and has appeared so, like, its form. We think that it's real because we're seeing it through the eyes of the body, right? We have forgotten our connection to source. We have forgotten where we came from, who we really are, and can't even conceptualize it in our small mind. So until we become open and believe that there is an infinite power and have some sort of experience within our mind, that others such as like Muhammad and Moses and all these names that could be thrown around, and then later on Jesus, stuff like that, you know, Buddha, all our brothers, they were able to tap into and remember our infinite united consciousness. That's all. And they were able to bring the truths of who we truly are in eternity here to form. And that's hard to take in when we're an ego, because an ego believes that we are this body. An ego believes that we're this personality. Our ego believes of everything that we see, and if I can't see it, then it's not real. Right? This is a folly perception of the mind that wants to keep us separate. And so as we continue to go through these years of evolution, we went from living on land to living in mansions all over the world, to having this technological age where we can connect in an instant in this computer, on this camera, through my cell phone, in the palm of my hand, so we have evolved, and that just shows our power as creators and what we can create here quite quickly. In time and space continuum, it seems like it's taken a long time, but in eternity, it's been a parenthesis in eternity. A moment in time, and that's why God and the divine and Jesus can only sit there and hold out their hands and be like, walk with me. If you believe, it will be done to you. But if you don't believe, it won't be. Because it takes belief and faith to remember who you are. And if you believe and you have faith, you can go within yourself and ask to remember, and you will be reminded yourself. But if you don't believe and you don't have faith, then you will remain to be caught in this world, believing that you're caught in this world, believing that you're this body who can suffer, who can experience pain and loss and fear and torture and sickness and death. That is the means of separation, not truth, separation. And this entire world has been built up of the idea of separation. And then we've had our own thoughts and our beliefs and our conclusions and our ideas and our goals for the future set on us by our parents, by our past, by our ancestors. Right? So we have been living in the past. We have been living based on a system that has been created by those who are dominating and power and rivalry and power over, and fighting and different religions, because we have different skins here on form. Separation again, it's going to look different in many different ways. We're going to persecute the others who don't look like us. Right? This is the mind of separation. What it does is it has its own thought system that it's developed, right? And the ego will do everything it possibly can to defend and protect it. And if it feels that it's being attacked, it will attack you back first so it doesn't get attacked. Is that not what has been causing all these wars? Is that not what's been causing all these problems? Is this not what resonates completely as to why this whole world is the way that it is? We have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten the truth. We have forgotten our power. We have forgotten our creator. And we have forgot that we are connected with each other and that everyone is our brothers and our sisters. That they're not our enemies. They're not strangers. Right? They're not different bodies living different lives, having different beliefs and having different views. They appear to be here in form, but in truth we are the same and share one truth, one purpose, one reality, one mind, one love. And this is what this time is coming to, is we are waking up to remember that, oh yeah, we chose this for ourselves. We chose this experience of separation. And after a while we all chimed in, and look at these billions of souls now here on earth, because it's a wicked experience. To be able to be here in form and experience a body and experience all this stuff. But the thing is, people don't see it clearly through the eyes of their soul. They see it through their body, so they get trapped and they get hurt and they have fear and depression. And that's why there's so much war and drugs and alcohol and overeating and over shopping or over sex, because we're trying to find a means out there to fill the void in here. When the only void is that of unity. This is all separation. It's all separation. The one problem of the world is separation. The solution is unity. Right? And the unity is only found within when we are open to remembering the truth of our existence as being one. And to remember our infinite power and to forget everything we learned here, because it doesn't even matter. It's just a dream we've dreamed up together. This is a dream we are collectively experiencing as this earth ball is spinning through galaxy at God knows how many speeds, right? And we are here apparently still, but, apparently spinning at the same time, And so, now it's coming to a time when, You know, we need to see that this entire world is within a matrix, right? Including the universe. And that's why each time the scientists get a bigger and bigger and bigger telescope, they see new things. Right now we have the Hubble telescope that will show us like light years away, but then it's still bigger than that. What do you know, right? Infinite. So we're going to continue to try and find the answers out there when they will never be found out there. And the reason we keep coming back to this earth lifetime after lifetime is because we haven't learned our lessons yet. We haven't remembered that we are eternal souls that are one with each other and our Creator. In truth, like I know I'm a child of God in truth because I've had that experience here, right? And ever since I accepted that experience, life has been stable and blissful and peaceful, and I've given my entire life to the Creator and live it here now, free of the past because it's undone and forgiven, free of the future because I give that to my Father to guide me. Our collective father or mother or whatever you want to call it. People get caught up on the he, she's limbo lingo, right? And so now, since like our bodies pass on and we still believe that we are these bodies caught in this world, we will ascend out of the matrix, we will ascend out of this world still within the matrix and need to choose our next lifetime to come back in here to learn the rest of the lessons in this lifetime so we can finally ascend and get out of here and move on to bigger and better things, right? And so we remain caught in the matrix, and that's why we have past lifetime after past lifetime after past lifetime. And that's why it's so easy for people to get caught on thinking that we're this body who carries all this past, who carries all this history, who carries all this stuff that I need to let go of and get rid of. In a sense, we do, because we need to bring it all to consciousness and look at it and let it go. But we also must remember that in the instant we have that experience of awakening, that experience of the holy instant when we remember who we are and what this world is and what the truth is, we no longer are in the past or worried about the future. We are right here, right now. So we've shed all the layers. We've shed all the crap. We've shed all the illusions. We've shed all of that. And all we see now is through the eyes of truth, through the eyes of Christ, right here, right now. So no longer are we seeing the world through the body, we're seeing it through the eyes of our soul, right here, right now. Not based on the past, not worried about the future, right here, right now. And when you're right here, right now is when we're connected to the divine. When we're right here, right now is when we can receive the answers as to what we're supposed to do today, who we're supposed to speak to, what are the words that I can share, how can I see this differently, is right here, right now. Not looking back to the past and trying to figure it out now in the past. We already made the conclusions in the past with our ego. It's not about trying to figure out if it was right or wrong based on what the ego concluded. It's about being right here, right now, and having the divine in this now moment, because we are connected for all eternity, to show it to us differently, because we were seeing it through the eyes of past then. We were seeing it through the eyes of ego then. But right now I can see it differently. So right now I ask all of you to go within. And I ask you to ask yourself and to ask the divine, ask the Creator, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, to come to you now. Your higher self knows this stuff. Your soul knows this stuff. So your soul will remind you, and your soul will give you the experience that you need to remember this for yourself. Right? And then as you remember that this entire world is based on separation, and the one solution of the world is unity, then as we all unite within our own consciousness, it shines across the world, enveloping the world with love and light and peace and truth and divine. This is the second coming of the Christ people within each and every one of us, remembering that the Christ is within us and accepting that within our own minds, not denying our mind, not denying our power, not denying our truth, not denying our Creator and each other because we're trying to get out of suffering and out of this pain-pleasure dynamics. It's learning proper perception of it, and realizing that this world doesn't even exist, that this world is an idea in our mind, that nothing even really happened here and it doesn't even matter, and so that saves me, and saves others, if we ever catch ourselves in a thought contortion of some kind. Oh yeah, it doesn't even exist here. Whew, okay, Holy Spirit, show this to me differently, thank you. Right, it doesn't even matter what I said in the past, I'm learning, we're learning communication, that is all. And we are now being given the means to communicate to a broader audience more of the time. Thank you, Internet. And think about that too, right? Little boxes all over the place that have these hard drives that send waves across everything. The Internet is nothingness. It doesn't even really exist. It's a bunch of numbers in a computer. But we're communicating here, right? We're communicating. This is divine, right? It's amazing. Unity in some way, right? So with that being said, thank you for listening to the tiny little mad idea. And knowing that all of us receive the same truth within when we ask of it. Brittany didn't make this up. I couldn't have possibly made this up. But I've experienced it and I've seen it for myself, and I continue to every single day. And life truly is miraculous when we choose to join minds with each other and our Creator, step out of the ego consciousness and into the divine one mind that we share. And we have the choice. It's a choice that we make. And until that choice, we're whittling down everything that we believe to be true, bringing it up to have it questioned so we can let it go. Lift all the veils, lift all of the illusions, and it must and will be done. Peace on earth. Love to all of you. Heaven is here, as heaven is a state that we claim within ourselves and share it. And so that's all. I'm a soul doing my part in this world. That is all. And we all can do this too, because we're all souls. We are one. Thank you for listening. I love you all. Mwah. Take care.